to episode 9 of Law and Batting Order. I'm your host, Tony Iliakostas. Here are some quick hits from the past week. Baseball fans around the world mourn the loss of one of the best catchers to walk the face of the earth. On Thursday, Montreal Expos and New York Mets great Gary Carter passed away at the age of 57 after he fell victim to brain cancer. In his 21-year playing career, the kid was an 11-time All-Star in which he compiled over 300 home runs and 1,225 RBIs. The highlight of Carter's career, of course, was hitting a single with 2 outs in Game 6 of the 1986 World Series, which contributed to one of the most historic rallies in baseball history and led the Mets to their second World Series victory in franchise history. While he was a lethal player on the field, he will always be remembered for his good heart and that infectious smile. As a Mets fan, I'll certainly miss number 8, and our hearts and prayers here in Law and Batting Order go out to the Carter family. The Linsanity continues! Jeremy Lin has shown that as an undrafted player from Harvard, he can be one of the most elite players in basketball. This week, he continued to impress the world as he led the Knicks to an improbable win over the Raptors on Valentine's Day by shooting a game-winning three-point shot. Lin also had a career-high 13 assists on Wednesday as he helped the Knicks climb out of obscurity and back at 500. While the Knicks lost on Friday, he continues to be a force to be reckoned with. He was even invited to the All-Star game in Orlando to participate in the Rising Stars game and will assist fellow teammate Iman Shumpert in the NBA Slam Dunk competition. Pull out your number 84 jerseys because Randy Moss is coming back. Well, maybe. On Monday, the star wide receiver announced on his web show that he will be unretiring from the NFL. Moss played with the Minnesota Vikings, Oakland Raiders, New England Patriots, and Tennessee Titans throughout his playing career, collecting over 14,000 yards and 153 receiving touchdowns. He did not play at all during the 2011-2012 season, so it'll be interesting to see if Moss will collect any attention from teams during this offseason. Today's Order in the Court will be covering contract formation and how it applies to Knicks point guard Jeremy Lin. Jeremy Lin was a no-name who came out of Harvard undrafted during 2010's NBA draft. During his first season in the NBA with the Golden State Warriors, he was your run-of-the-mill point guard coming off the bench to play a few minutes. Then at the beginning of this season, he was released by the Warriors, signed up again by them, and claimed off waivers by the Houston Rockets to then be placed on waivers one more time. But the Knicks swept in and took the young man, and the rest is history. During the Knicks-Nets game on February 4th, Lin made history. Lin went from dud to stud, turning heads after scoring 25 points, 7 assists, and 5 rebounds, and leading the Knicks to a victory. Ever since then, Coach Mike D'Antoni has started Lin at point guard, has maintained consistent top 10 stats daily, and led the Knicks to 6 straight wins thereafter, helping the Knicks out of the basement and in the hunt for one of the top spots in the Eastern Conference. There is simply no denying that Jeremy Lin is playing incredibly well. His performance on the court, even in 8 games, has shown that he can be an elite point guard in the league. However, right now, he is receiving a guaranteed $750,000 and will be a restricted free agent at the conclusion of this season, meaning that other teams besides the Knicks will have a chance to offer Lin a multi-year deal. This gets to the heart of contract law, and in today's video, I'll be addressing the following issue. How do the rules of contract law apply in the case of Jeremy Lin acquiring a new contract after the 2012 season? A contract consists of 3 elements: an offer, an acceptance, and a consideration. An offer is a manifestation to enter into a bargain that is clear, explicit, and definite, which leaves nothing open for negotiation, such that an objectively reasonable person would agree to that bargain. Acceptance is an assent to carry out the terms set forth in the offer. Consideration is a bargain for exchange, such that there is something of legal value, and there is a detriment to the promisor, the person who promises, or a benefit to the promisee, the person being promised something. In the case of Jeremy Lin, here's how contract formation would apply if the Knicks wanted to keep him. Given that Jeremy Lin would be a restricted free agent at the conclusion of this season, the offer would have to come from the Knicks, and their offer would have to match the offer of other NBA teams. Furthermore, their offer would have to be clear, explicit, and definite, and leave no room for negotiation. This means that the offer from the Knicks to Jeremy Lin would have to contain clear terms that show how much he would be paid if he were to stay on board. This rule of contract law is pretty self-explanatory. Next, if the price is right, Jeremy Lin could accept the Knicks' offer, meaning that the terms of the offer are such that he's satisfied with it and he would agree to carry out the terms set forth in the offer. Acceptance could initially be verbal, but like all contracts with athletes, the players will need to sign a written contract showing that they accept the terms of the offer. Finally, here's the crux of the contract formation. That is consideration. In order for the contract to exist, both contracting parties need to exchange something of legal value that is a detriment to the promisor or a benefit to the promisee. For the Knicks, it's fairly simple. They're giving Jeremy Lin a certain amount of money for him to play with them, and giving him that money is most certainly a detriment to them. On Jeremy Lin's end, he'll be receiving a certain amount of currency from the Knicks over an extended period of time. The question is, what will Jeremy Lin be giving the Knicks that is of legal value? Simple, his consistent performance. If Lin continues to play incredible basketball after signing a new contract, this means that more fans will come to Madison Square Garden to watch Knicks games, more fans will watch Knicks games on TV, and his brand will help the Knicks generate revenue in the merchandising sector. In other words, if Jeremy Lin continues to be the player that we've seen him be the past few games, he will help the Knicks generate much revenue. Having said all of this, the terms of Lin's contract at the end of this season are solely contingent on how he performs the remainder of this season. If he continues his outstanding performance and even leads the Knicks deep into the playoffs, then it's very likely that Jeremy Lin will garner a multi-year deal at around 8 figures, and this is excluding potential endorsements. If he falls back into obscurity for some odd reason, then Lin's chance of getting a stellar deal might fail. However, he's played very well these past few games, and he's definitely proving to the world that he's the real deal. So obscurity at this point seems unlikely. And this is how contract law applies to this Linderella story. That's the show. Leave all your comments down below, and be sure to visit Law and Batting Order at lawandbattingorder.com, as well as on Facebook and Twitter. Until next time, have a great week, guys.